It was a rather unusual incident that led to an innocent man losing his life in his own home. An officer would face severe punishment and her morals would be put in question. But was it justified? Let's take a look back at the interesting story of female police officer Amber Guyger and find out what actually happened. Being a police officer is often considered one of the hardest jobs in the world. The position requires a high level of mental fortitude under stressful situations. At any point, danger can erupt, and quick decisions have to be made. Unfortunately, in some extreme cases the wrong action is taken, and dire consequences are the results. And this unusual situation would be a prime example of how quickly things can turn sour. Amber Guyger, at the age of 30, had been on the Dallas police force for nearly 5 years. She decided to move closer to the station for an easier commute once her lease was up. After searching around for a bit, she found a one-bedroom apartment merely 2 blocks away from her job. It was a large 4-story complex called the Southside Flats. The building had over 250 units. Amber would reside on the 3rd floor in apartment 1378. The layout and design of the apartments within the complex were basically identical to one another. For the first 2 months, things seemed to be going quite well for Amber in her new residence. Now living only 2 blocks away from her station, she had more time to spend enjoying herself. However, the change of scenery wouldn't turn out to be such a good thing for Guyger. After working a long 13-hour shift, which consisted of 3 arrests during the day, Guyger would head home a little after 9 o'clock in the evening. On the drive back, she would engage in a personal call with an officer whom she was romantically involved with. Guyger, possibly tired and distracted with her conversation, would enter the apartment complex's parking garage. She drove past the 3rd floor and parked on the 4th, which was the level above her home, the floor plans being the same. Guyger made it to door 1478. It was 1 digit off from her 1378 unit. The doors in the building operated with an electronic key device. One would just have to insert an indistinguishable fob to be granted access. As she attempted to make her way inside the wrong apartment, she noticed the door wasn't completely shut. Now concerned and suspicious about the door being ajar, she walked in to see an African-American man occupying the living quarters. The armed Guyger would make the worst decision of her life. Following the tragic encounter that left 2 gunshots in the chest of the victim, Guyger would call 911 and report the incident.
I'm an off-duty officer. I thought it was in my apartment, and I shot a guy thinking it was my apartment.
He shot someone?
Yes, I thought it was my apartment. I'm fucked. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Okay, and where are you at right now?
I'm in, what do you mean? I'm inside the apartment with him. Hey, come on.
What's your name?
I'm Amber Guyger. I need to get me, I'm in.
Okay, we have help on the way.
I know, but I'm gonna lose my job.
Once police arrived on the scene, their body cam would film what happened next. The victim, 26-year-old Botham Jean, was rushed to the hospital in an attempt to save his life. But unfortunately, Jean was pronounced dead shortly after arriving. Days later, following the incident, Guyger would be charged with manslaughter. She was released on bond and put on paid administrative leave from her job. As the racial climate and social justice tension was at an all-time high in America, when the story broke, the lesser charge of manslaughter instead of murder for Guyger would create a great deal of outrage among the African American community, many of which believe police officers aren't held accountable for their actions, especially when it comes to minorities. When it came time for the trial of Amber, In the courtroom, more details were revealed about the night, and also who Amber was as an officer and person.
Since I knew somebody was moving around inside my apartment, I wanted just to find that threat.
What were you feeling with that
Fear,
threat?
scared as crap.
Okay. As the door opened, did you see anything in your apartment?
Yes, I did. That's whenever, directly in the middle towards the window, is when I saw the silhouette figure standing back there.
The state of Texas does absolutely find it unreasonable that a trained 5-year veteran of the Dallas Police Department could go into the wrong apartment and shoot an unarmed man who was doing absolutely nothing wrong in the chest. The state of Texas finds it absolutely unreasonable that a person could do something like that and just say, whoops, my bad, and then go on about her life however she chooses to do it. Yes, the state of Texas finds that premise to be unreasonable. In fact, we find that premise to be unjust and unacceptable and insulting.
After the week-long trial, the jury had heard enough information to finally have a verdict.
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Amber Guyger, guilty of murder as charged in the indictment.
She was sentenced to serve 10 years in state prison. After serving 5 years of incarceration, she was denied parole in 2024. Her next hearing for an early release is in 2026. What do you think about this story? Was the punishment too harsh, or was 10 years justified? Or do you even think the sentence was too short for the deadly negligence? Leave a comment below and let me know.